Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. When the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, a little bit late, but I wanted to try and do as much research as I could before I got on here because quite a lot happening in Kenosha last night. But anyways, let's focus on markets first. So yesterday in the E-mini, a little bit of a down move, but ultimately it just comes right back up and you can't keep this thing down. Treasury, significant move. It's just all over the place, but still down. That pullback back there that's a little unusual. Pretty significant moves going on here. I think that might be happening because liquidity is still fairly low in the treasuries. Oil coming out to new highs here. Breaking out, coming back a little bit. Gold still sad. It's still just, I don't know how else to put it. It's sad. Copper's recovering a little bit. I don't know where that's going to be going. We've got here in 15 seconds, durable goods orders. Looking for a reading of 2%. That's the ex-transportation number. Trader Josh, good morning. How are you? Oh my. So durable goods orders ex transportation is 2.4 versus an estimated 2. Durable goods orders including transportation is 11.2 versus 4.3. Nothing really reacting to that, surprisingly enough. That is a really big number. We're going to see the dollar go up here on that. Good morning, Dan. Oh, man. Okay, let's make sure we got everything all. Well, that's interesting. Do we have stuff later today? Well, we have some Fed speakers. I don't know if this market is really going to move a whole lot. Them turning down there is actually a short here could make sense, but I just don't see a whole lot of reason for it to move. Gold is getting pummeled here. They gonna breach 1900? Let's pull them up over here really quick. It's really interesting that gold is what's moving off of that. Rand Squawk tweets, leading indicator gold sliding, equities going sideways, expect more crypto emails. Yeah. And this is, yeah, so he's saying durable goods orders is a leading indicator, and that was uh, really positive. Although it wasn't on the durable goods orders, it looks like a bunch of people are buying cars. Um, I don't know how else to read that. The equities aren't moving, but the dollar is. The dollar across the board, the dollar moving down. This is yeah. You know what's happening here is that shit that the market shit that the market's US durable goods beats market expectations at 11.2%. Max expectation was 10%. Wow, somebody was expecting as high as 10%. The estimate that I have is 4.3. What? But you see, how can the E-mini go up if the dollar is strengthening? Oh, the conundrum. Hmm. I don't know, guys. Most interesting. You can see the book has gone
Salim L says
temporarily.
Umaibu www.www.wsy.
She read the My, though. How? So you see in the book down at the bottom, short term they are positive, but overall the liquidity is still like the larger term liquidity is still down. Well, this one is kind of new. We've never seen that before, so like we've never looked at that much of the book and watched how it performs. So that big old order at 34.40 must be what's skewing it. Is it really negative 13,000 though? How can that be?
Jodij Peme says hello sir. Excuse me, what time does bonds open ET, if S opens 930 m at?
It opens up at 8:20.
Jodij Peme says 720 m ET, or 820 m ET.
It's 8:20 Eastern time. Hmm.
Jodij Peme says so 1 hour and 10 minutes before S open. Thanks sir, I just could not
Yes.
figure this out myself.
It's really the reason it opens at the time that it does is it's 10 minutes before the 8:30 news gets released. Like the core durable goods that we just saw. Mm.
Jodij Peme says looking forward to scalp bonds 1 before my S trading.
Well, that's good. Bonds haven't been a super great trade lately, but they've been doing okay this week. There we are. What does level 2 timer do in the JT connection uh, indicator?
Jodij Peme says have you checked jigsaw charting yet?
Yeah, I've used it. It's just kind of okay, to be honest. I mean, it gets the job done. There's nothing particularly special about it. I can't use both NinjaTrader and the jigsaw charting at the same time. So, and since I have an indicator that I'm really that I've developed that I'm really interested in, and it has been working really well for me, um, I may just not be able to move over to jigsaw charts. I talked to them about, what would it take to be able to put my own thing in there, and it sounded like it just wasn't happening. They weren't interested. So, I don't know.
Jodij Peme says neither do I. They have a long road there.
Yeah. Now, they haven't released the more interesting order flow kind of oriented charts like the footprint chart. So let's see what their footprint chart
Jodij Peme
holds.
says
But
I have asked them about personal tools development there, but they do not plan on this.
yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little frustrated just because one of the main reasons that I use Jigsaw is because of the innovations that they've brought to the market. And now it's kind of sounding like that Pete just
Jodij
doesn't
Peme
want to
says
go
can you
with
talk a
any.
little about your tool?
Well, I'm hesitant to go too much into it because I mean the thing is I don't know the impact of the market if everybody was doing this. So, but the gist of it is that it estimates positions by watching the order flow and making certain assumptions about how people trade, and it tries to estimate where their average long and average short is and how many contracts they might have on. And it does a pretty effective job at um, finding where the E-mini is going to stop out. So obviously, yeah, if it's really does continue to function the way that it has been, that there's some serious edge in it
Salim
potentially.
L says Seth JSTMZDEZNAI Fundamental Analysis Order Flow Indicator.
He just Salim just put as many buzzwords in there on that as he could. Okay, well, I want to learn more about this Kenosa shooter, so I'm gonna listen to this video here really quick.
Salim L says it's an AI indicator. Yuri says how many lines you write to get it done?
Oh, it's about 400 lines. The main function part is. I had to write a
Arnoldo
pretty
Fernandez says hello
complicated
from Primavera do Leste, Brazil.
Oh, another guy from Brazil. Welcome.
Jodij Peme says are you a software developer?
I am. Well, right now I mostly develop site reliability tools, but I've been developing now for 10 years. And C# has kind of always been my specialty, so writing stuff in NinjaTrader pretty easy for me. To be honest, I was always getting in like, I want something complicated, I want something that's hard to write. I don't think that this indicator was like really pushed me, but it was a lot harder than anything else I've written in NinjaTrader. I'll tell you that. It was a pretty
Jodij Peme says that is
complicated.
extremely nice. I can see the potential on being a developer as a trader, getting you own tools, auto executions, etc. etc.
Sure. Well, if you're gonna trade technicals, I really don't see any other way to do it. But the funny thing is that even though I have some strong programming skills, my conclusion has been that trying to go just for the technical edges isn't worth it. So I rely much more upon news.
Yuri says, did you use object or functions only?
Um, wait, I didn't really need to utilize any class-based concepts to do the algorithm itself beyond just utilizing the NinjaTrader classes. Elon Musk's brain implant firm Neuralink to show off a working device Friday. What?
Ishay Almali says, another buy the dip day?
I don't know. So I believe that the bullish. Yeah, we keep getting these moves. Let's go back to the chart. That's a good question. Come over here and look at the ES. Apparently, China's doing more military drills. They're just all over the place with these. It's quite okay. So you see this move right here, and this move, and this one probably counts. I would maybe need to go to more of a 5-minute chart, but you basically you get these uptrends that just pop up out of nowhere, and it's like, I mean, look at this. It's all super choppy, blah blah blah, and then just it's like somebody comes in and flips on a switch, and nobody can do anything but buy it. I don't get it. Well, one possible explanation, I've been seeing this through the whole, ever since the Fed got involved. But as of late, perhaps one of the things that may be driving us up is expectations of greater inflation, because the Federal Reserve is saying that they are interested in using average inflation targeting, which means that we've been down on inflation so much that they're willing to allow inflation to run above our 2% target for longer as well. And the market seems to believe that now the Federal Reserve will really truly actually get the inflation that they want. Um, I personally I think that although you might see inflation in the short term, it's still going to be very difficult for the Federal Reserve to trigger any kind of inflation because their policies that they're holding are deflationary. If you hold the interest rate too low, then people have to save more, and so that prevents the inflation from happening. So that's kind of the trade that's going on, and if that's the case, then you would want to buy it in certain situations, right? And you would, it would be driven very much by dollar. Here again, why we had some pretty significant news. Well, not significant, but I mean a leading indicator was significantly different from the expectation. E-minis barely moved a tick since. Dollar has come up 10 cents. Well, dollar strengthening bad for equities, even though the news was good. So the news was good, dollar strength bad, leaves equities flat, but the dollar reacts to the news. Perhaps. Perhaps. So that whole complex moved down, even the golds. So I see some inflation, but just be I have to stress this again and again and again. We got Jackson Hole tomorrow and Friday. We got Powell's speech tomorrow in particular. So people are going to be hesitant to put risk on here. That doesn't mean that it's not going to move, but it's a difficult environment. Yesterday, we had a lot of good trades actually, but we didn't really get anything from it because it just wasn't running like it has been. We would have had to have taken the short profits. So yeah, I guess that's the whole thing about that.
Michael Torrent says technicals during high volatility and fundamentals during low volatility. Salim L says he is an AI singularity generator. He made a robot that outsmarts any human called something's mom. Ishay Almuli says good-looking setup, you got this. Culture Horse says GM folks. Don't tell the DNC. They will want Neuralink. Voting next.
You think so?
Question mark.
I might
Live
want
Action
it.
says would be great to develop something that could front-run the trade execution hubs. T-Bone21 says why shoot for higher inflation in a high debt, high unemployment world? Live Action says doesn't raising interest rates deflationary?
Well, nobody's
Yuri
going to
says
raise
what do you
interest
think
rates.
about gold? Jodij Peme says market is supposed to be choppy and slow due to summer in USA, right? Are you aware when does this summertime ends?
Okay, so let's do Jotej's question first, and then I'll talk about gold, Yuri. So Jotej, it is absolutely true that trade during the summer is different. There's less liquidity and there's less movement overall. And this is particularly true in late August where we are right now. And it's particularly true that it will be like that Jackson Hole week, because that is peak of vacation and Jackson Hole. So yeah, you get slow choppy trade. When does that end? Things don't really turn to normal until Labor Day, okay? Which I believe is on the 6th, right? 7th. Labor Day is on the 7th. So you'll still got next week. Next week will actually probably be okay because you're going to get some economic numbers. And then you'll get Labor Day. And then things should go into the fall trading, okay? And remember that the fall trading, the seasonality of the fall trading tends to be is negative. So that doesn't mean that we will for sure be negative or anything, but usually when something is really going wrong and shit hits the fan proverbially, it happens in September, October. So after Labor Day is the time that you want to be looking at, right? Now, for Yuri, what do I think about gold? I think that as a long-term investment, that there's probably a lot of good reasons to own gold right now, because a lot of people are going to overreact to this average inflation targeting, for one thing. And a lot of people are really negative right now. And gold kind of ends up being like the ultimate tail risk hedging instrument, right? When people think that the world is going to go to crap, they always go into gold. That's why zero hedge is always pushing negative stories, right? Because zero hedge is really what they're all about, is they want to return to the gold standard. And so they're always pushing negative market narratives. And ones that involve, Federal Reserve is bad, and so on and so forth. So interesting. Zero Hedge is like one of the best financial news sources that you can find as a retail trader. Just, pretend that everything they say about the Federal Reserve and the dollar and everything is that just them joking around, and you'll be fine. But like, you get a good idea of what fundamentals are going on that you can trade off of. But, they're pro gold through and through, and that very much affects their opinion. Anyways, so in the long term, but in the short term, gold has not been performing over this last, I want to say 2 weeks now. It's just been ever since they had that big move above 2000, and now they're almost pushing 1900. We could see 1900 today in gold, possibly. I think the problem is that, the dollar is overvalued, or has been largely overvalued, but there's still a lot of fear out there. So, and like, nobody can do it. These people that want to play fear, how are they going to do it? And so they go into gold, and then gold goes nowhere, and they end up having to take positions, and it moves down on us. That seems to be what's happening. I don't know. But for like scalping, gold has been down. and it has a lot of really weird counterintuitive moves. So I'd be a little. I mean, if you want to trade gold, that's totally a place that you could probably find some edge, but just be aware of the fundamentals. And a lot of people want to think that gold, the only fundamental in gold is um, the dollar is weak. There's going to be inflation, but that's not true. And this is another thing that you really got to understand about gold, and a reason why, for instance, moving back to a gold standard would be a really dumb idea, because it's actually not that difficult to manipulate the gold supply and create weird moves. So
Salim L says call whatever you wanna call it. I am not investing in anything other than physical gold. Salim L says gold is not for trading. It's for hiding money. Winston's
money.
mom says, jokes of the proper kind, properly told, can do more to enlighten questions of politics, philosophy, and literature than any number of dull arguments. Isaac Asimov and good morning, Salim L.
Secretary Pompeo, the U.S. is taking action today to support freedom of the seas and to oppose coercion of our Southeast Asian allies and partners. We must not allow Beijing's campaign of bullying to prevent access to vital offshore resources and damage critical ecosystems. I think you sell that. Oh, by the way, we need to fix something. This should be MES, but it needs to be CME indexes. Okay. There we go. GOP convention speakers video pulled after tweet. I saw that last night and I was like, good. Shouldn't have put her on there in the first place, but whatever.
Dan H says I think a portfolio of commodities would be better to back the dollar. With no conversion or redemption of underlying assets.
I don't think that would do it, to be honest with you, Dan, because as long as there's a commodity, here's the problem. Here's the problem that they were trying to get away with the gold standard. Let me tell you this story, because here's the thing. I don't think that people tell this story. This is the thing that I find so bizarre. Why did we go off of the gold standard? Because we had been off the gold standard since the Federal Reserve was created, to be honest. But you could still redeem your dollars for actual gold, right? So we were using central banking, but you could still redeem your dollars for gold. Why did they stop doing that in the 70s? Well, it turns out that, as always, it's politics. And at the time, it was Richard Nixon was president. And there was a French president who didn't much like Richard Nixon. And he basically was like going to piss on America. And the way that he did it, he said, what America is doing with gold is not right. What we should do is we should go and take all of our dollars and get them redeemed for gold. That's what he was doing. So the French government was literally going and dumping dollars to pick up gold. And he was encouraging other countries to do it. And so that is why Richard Nixon suspended converting your gold or your dollars into gold. It was because it was unsustainable, right? So when you have a currency that's backed by a commodity, the issue that you have is that those commodities are always manipulatable. You have no control over it, essentially. The government has no control. So, like, you could have a basket of commodities, right? But what happens when a macro force comes in that affects that commodity basket as a whole? then you are subject to the whims of that basket of commodities, whether it's good for your economy or bad for your economy. And there's nothing you can do about it. So if those dynamics are bad, because I mean, I can't think of what the kind of the reason would be. Maybe a global pandemic might be one particular reason. Okay. So if you have a global pandemic and those commodities are getting more rare, then how do you stimulate your economy? How do you get out of it? You can't. You have to wait for the dynamics that are affecting that basket of commodities to change, right? And so that's the other thing, is that you need something that's counter cyclical. You need something that when the economy is doing really, really bad, that particular thing is doing really, really good. And that thing doing really, really good allows you to restart the economy. And that is where the treasuries come in, right? Because treasuries do really, really well when the economy is not doing so well. And those that flight to treasuries allows banks to lend more, essentially. And then that increase in lending is what spurs the economy back up. So if you were going to replace the dollar, you would have to find another system to create that cycle. Now, it gets even more complicated because what we have done recently seems to have broken the cycle, doesn't it? Because it's always that you will raise interest rates when things are going well and lower them when things aren't going so well. But now we've had a situation where for the past 10 years, interest rates have been incredibly low. And so now, like, can they go any lower? You can do negative interest rates. You can do all of this stuff, to buy the treasuries to that yourself to keep things up. But that's a real problem too. They're going to have to make some changes. Probably the change that's going to have to be made in the long run. And I know the politicians don't want to do it, but at some point they're going to have to rein in government spending. That's the real problem, is excessive government spending. These countries that have their own currency, but they aren't overspending, are, we'll see. We'll see how it goes for them. It'll be different.
Vlad Stolyarov says cycle continues forever, until the big leaders start failing. Vlad Stolyarov says watch which companies cut dividends. Vlad Stolyarov says more of them are suffering in Europe now.
Yeah, well, it seems to me that this spike in Europe is going to continue, even though the media is not really talking about it. But it'll probably have to be a couple of weeks before it really gets to a peak before people will care again. Isn't it interesting how they, uh, how the media narrative changes with that? Because, I remember me telling you at the beginning of the month that the number of cases is going to start declining and then the news is going to have to find something different to talk about. And like, here we are. And so what did they do? They moved over to BLM, which we should talk about. So let me watch. Oh, yes. Okay, so there was a shooting in Kenosha. Hold on. There was an investor survey, and in the survey, expectations of inflation increased. Okay, so last night in Kenosha, they did deploy the National Guard, but they've only been deploying the National Guard to protect like city buildings and stuff like that. And they haven't been doing anything to disperse the crowds or to save private businesses. So what was happening is that private individuals were going to the businesses to protect things. There was an individual who was part of a pro BLM militia, and this pro BLM militia was going to protect the buildings. They were saying, "We're with you and we want to help you and protect you, but you cannot attack businesses." Okay? Well, some rioters decided to attack a business anyways and attacked one of the militia guys that had a gun. And so the guy with the gun shot him. And then my understanding is he started getting chased by a mob. And so he ran away, and um, an individual was throwing a Molotov cocktail at him and trying to kill him, and so he shot this other protester in the head. So in Kenosha last night, there was two deaths. This guy shot two people in self-defense, and from the video that I've seen, it is a very, very clear case of self-defense. But crazy. I don't know if this is going to get a lot of wide media play because he was probably BLM. If he had ended up being some like white nationalist or something, then that would be all they talk about for months on end. But so that's the way it's been going. I told you. Can I gloat a little bit? I told you guys the political narrative is going to change in a month, and it will be much more favorable to the president. And look at where you are. The coronavirus is gone, and so they switched over to the rioting, and the rioting is getting so bad that people are now like they're going to vote for Donald Trump because they're terrified.
Lobo Trader says, "Good morning,
that matters
Seth.
Too.
Good morning."
Let's go
Chat,
check.
Slightly smiling face.
Let's go check predict it. So Trafalgar, by the way, put a poll out this morning that had Donald Trump up in Wisconsin. So they still have it 61% Democratic, but the same poll that picked up Trump's rise there in 2016 is picking it up that Donald Trump is up by 1 point today. It looks like, though, well, actually, Biden has come down a bit. Donald Trump hasn't come up at all. That's interesting. When you look at the 7-day, it doesn't look like it's changed much at all. But let's get rid of Harris. Nobody cares about that. 7-day, maybe we need to go 30-day. It seems like Biden has been coming down steadily, but not a lot. This is likely to flip, given current polling.
Winston's mom says, "May I say that I have not thoroughly enjoyed serving with humans? I find their illogic and foolish emotions a constant irritant. Vulcan salute." Lobo Trader says, "Good morning, Seth. Good morning." Chat, slightly smiling face.
So here's another one from Trading Floor Audio. Could this be the first cracks appearing in the Biden campaign for president? Biden gets no convention bounce after Democratic gathering, Reuters Ipsos poll. So for me, I don't think that it makes a whole lot of sense to trade this, but I'm gonna almost guarantee you that the predicted is going to come back to 50-50. So 10 cents for the taking there. Which is like a 20% gain if you short Biden.
Dan H says, "How hard would it be to make a competing product to Jigsaw?"
I would say it'd be pretty hard. So to have something that actually would show you data and draw a DOM and duplicate a couple of the most important Jigsaw features probably wouldn't be that difficult. The algorithms that Jigsaw relies upon to do most of its, I don't know what you call it, magic, are really not very complicated at all. They're really quite. I've duplicated many of them in NinjaTrader, but out of respect for them, I have not put them out. So, but to make a solid platform that you can actually give to other people and works well is very, very difficult, right? The amount of finishing work that you need to put on something like that to have a a really solid product is very difficult. Now that said, I really want to start my own platform because I want that MBO data. Apparently, though, I think I have to pay for the Rhythmic API Plus, which, well, how do I get it through it? Can I get it through AMP? Come in here and look. So when I come in here and I say, from the United States, and then I want to come in here, switch data feed, CQG Rhythmic MetaTrader 5, TTW. So I think you just say Rhythmic, bundle Eurex special. Done. Maybe I have to talk to them about it. I think it's like $20 extra a month, though. Which I suppose we could do, but I think that right now we probably should be focused more on just trading well. Fair enough. So maybe the time to start our own platform is not right. But if you have access to the Rhythmic API in C# and you can send me the documentation, I would really appreciate it. Why do you need MBO? So MBO has a way to see how individual orders, and there's a property on them that shows that it was changed. So when a market order hits the market, you can look at that property to determine if it was a stop order. If I have a stop order, then if I can tell that things are a stop order, then I would be able to make my indicator more useful during trending action, essentially. Makes sense? So, and I would also be able to look at the level 2 and make a better determination about how many of the orders there will actually stay and how many will pull. So that's the other reason I want to do it.
Salim L says I see good luck.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work to start. I mean, just making a chart alone would be hard. Would be really hard, I think. So yeah.
Live Action says what's the matter with me? I keep forgetting you have NQ up and get freaked out on my S trade.
Oh, that's not NQ right now. That is gold. I switched it over to gold because gold was moving. It looks like, gold had a pretty significant move down and recovered. So maybe we should return it to NQ.
Winston's mom says, makes sense. 0.28 watching now. Will everyone please take a quick second to hit the like button? Thanks, and if you ask nicely, Speculator Seth will show you his Traders Gonna Trade mugs.
In the video description, there is a link to our web store where you can get Traders Gonna Trade merchandise, because that's what they do, is they trade. Why did the market go down or up yesterday?
Vlad Stoyarov says
trade.
slightly smiling face.
By the way, I have seen
Lobo Trader says slightly smiling face.
I wasn't sure if anybody would buy a mug. I was like, this is dumb. I don't know if this
Dan
is...
H says 6E was nice and smooth today.
I don't know if this is worth the effort or anything. I guess, but it was worth the effort just for me to have one because I think it's awesome. But actually, a good number of you have bought one, so I appreciate that. And they're like what, $15, if that. They're very cheap. So Traders Gonna Trade. I'm hoping that eventually they get hats. That's what I would really like is a hat. If I had a hat, maybe we would wear it every day, you know? Do you ship this mug also to Germany? I mean, don't know. I think they might. You're just gonna have to go in the link and see if it will let you ship there and see what they charge you. I bet you that they probably will, but they might just charge you a little bit more on the shipping. Ugh. Was another interesting story in politics yesterday was Bette Midler attacked Melania Trump for her accent, and the Twitter just shredded her bits. Hmm. So this is a pretty good uptrend there. It seems like really big, but it's really only like 12 ticks or so. 713. So I think in this situation, we might want to wait until the open. I might try and play it on the open with the sim trade. I don't see. I want to see if there's more. When I woke up, I was actually quite hard to find information about what happened in Kenosha. Ryder, they got his arm shot in Kenosha was armed. Oh man, he got. Oh man. I cannot show you what I just saw. This man got shot in the arm and his arm got messed up. Oh my gosh. I want to look again. Oh my god. That is I can't show that on YouTube. That is so graphic. His arm from like from here to here is just shredded to bits. I think he'll probably recover and be okay, but he got messed up. Oh my gosh. He was chasing that guy totally. Yeah, man. That protester in particular is probably gonna he should be tried for attempted murder. And he's wearing a paramedic hat too. He's wearing a paramedic hat. He has a gun. He was trying to kill this guy. Make us indicators. Oh, I am working with Ninja Trader as we speak to provide you guys an indicator package that you can use. It won't include the inventory cost basis indicator, but it'll have all of the level 2 toys. And we can make more toys as you guys desire. And I'm gonna make it really cheap, like 30 to $50. I think I'm probably gonna have to make it 50 because otherwise I'd be undercutting people too much. Hmm. Pretty solid wave of buying comes in there at 040. Treasury's pushing up quite aggressively. Jeez, yep, that was him getting hit in the arm. It might mean there's no resistance, so another 40 points maybe on ESF. Who knows, man? It just doesn't seems like when the buy comes in that it just doesn't stop, right? Look at the chart, upper right. It's just like this freak buy that comes out of nowhere. And like nothing fights it. I've never seen movement like that. The logic never held me irrational, more likely. I don't know, man. They always that doesn't seem like healthy market action to me.
Lobo Trader says, talking of Indus, could you provide me with some pointers to go to for data feeds for non-profitable yet traders? For trading micro and shares.
Well, I mean, for your actual market data, you're basically going to get CQG or um, Rhythmic. And if you want the internals, then you're going to want to go with CQG. For other stuff, though, like I highly recommend using TweetDeck. Follow a bunch of news feeds and prominent people on Twitter and just have TweetDeck up. And that is one of the best ways to get you news. I am using for a squawk Financial Juice. If you go over to Financial Juice right now, they are doing a deal where you pay $700 to get Financial Juice free for life. Or to get, not free. You pay $700 for a lifetime subscription to Financial Juice. After that deal ends, it will be, I think, $70 a month to hear Financial Juice. But they're pretty good, and they got some good stuff coming up. Another thing that I wouldn't ignore is your stockbroker often will give you access to research and stuff. So, get on your broker's website and see what kind of news and information they provide you. And then Zero Hedge, of course, you should read Zero Hedge, and that's where I would go to get information. Historically, intraday data and RT&TA, is that Kinetic the best of the best as the NinjaTrader? Yeah, so I think if you go with NinjaTrader brokerage, then you're using Kinetic, which is basically CQG. It's CQG branded for NinjaTrader, is my understanding. I can give you $5,000 if you make me an indicator from scratch. What platform would you want it to be on? Kids are waking up. Kids' first day of school for the kids. Guess need to get the eldest up because school starts at like the top of the hour for him. Q Trader. Is that a thing? You're messing with me? Or are you talking about CQG's Q Trader? Probably. It would be harder now that I just switched back over to Rhythmic, though. Resources. Online help. Microsoft new highs today. Is that what's driving them? Well, I'm getting the right there. Oh, wait a second. What did I just do? Oh, yeah, of course.
Vlad Stolyarov says Red Dog Guy was talking about MSFT on Twitter. Salim L says I am trading of a bit. Vlad Stolyarov says from T3. Salim L says very fast platform, very professional.
Yeah, I mean, I've opened up their platform from CQG, but it was so very basic. Um, I was just going through here in their help. I didn't see an obvious documentation, so I don't know what their options are for automated automation. But good amount trading here at 34.47.
Live Action says Bloomberg. This journalist asks Wells Fargo how is money made now with free trading, no commissions, and the other journalist interrupted his answer. I hate when this happens.
Oh, really? Well, they're selling your order flow. That's how everybody else is doing it, at least.
Salim L says they have very responsive customer service live chat on the support button. They will answer you in a second. Just click on support from the QTrader platform.
Maybe I'll do it later today. It was when I went into their online help, it was saying that that JavaScript wasn't enabled, which isn't true, but maybe I need to lower my Brave browser shields. So I'll have to take a look at that later. Hmm. I don't like where all the liquidity is at here in the micros. Fairly clearly see I'm not the only one that took it there.
Salim L says they have the most technical and responsive and well-informed support I have ever encountered in my life.
Well, I know that the Q Trader is better than the Rhythmic Trader. Man, the R Trader is so bad. It is so ugly and basic, man. Ugh. It just makes me cringe opening it up. It just makes me cringe. But assuming that we can actually program on QTrader, what is it that you would want programmed? Because I don't know what you would be wanting that would be worth $5,000. Oh, Mark Meadows says they're looking at an executive action to help out airlines. I don't know if that's going to impact the broader market, but
Trader Josh says is Financial Juice comparable to Trade the News?
I mean, they're selling the same kind of a service. Financial Juice is going to be $70 a month or $700 now for life. You go in, you get a live news feed. I'm listening to them right now. Are they as good as Service X, Y, and Z? Well, the only other one that I've ever tried is Ransquawk, and I would say that they're probably not as good as Ransquawk. Ransquawk was giving me pieces of news like information about corporate bonds that I'm not getting on Financial Juice. So I'd say that at the moment their service is not as good. They have a couple of innovative features that they're going to try to put out. So I'm sure that it's only going to get better. But I mean, if you're a retail trader, are you going to spend 250 or whatever it is a month on Rand Squawk? Trade the News Bazinga Pro and all of those. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a mute point, doesn't it? But Financial Juice does give you a new squawk, and I think that it gets the job done. Okay, that rise in the dollar is retracing. Zero Hedge, another way of framing last night's events. Kyle evaded a Molotov cocktail thrown at him. He then shot the man who attacked him, and
Live
then,
Action
after
says,
being
did you
chased by
find
a
Ransquack a
mob,
wee bit late with eco releases?
after being chased by a mob, he shot the two people who attacked him and tried to take his gun for a civilian. That's pretty impressive. Okay. I did not find them late with economic releases. Well, although one thing that I have
Trader Josh
found.
says, cool, thanks. I'm paying $60 a month for Trade the News. I'll check them
Oh,
out.
do they have it for $60 a month for Trade the News? I wasn't aware. I thought that they were more than that, but maybe that's like just a basic package or something. Yes,
Trader
for
Josh says,
futures.
yes for futures.
So something that I have discovered, though, is that a lot of the economic releases don't hit exactly on the dot. Especially lately, a lot of them have been late for whatever reason. But the squawk gives them to us as I honestly, here's what I think they're doing is I think that they pay for a Bloomberg terminal and they have paid for rights to redistribute the data. That's what's happening. So he's basically rereading to you a Bloomberg terminal. So, of course, the best thing would be to just get a Bloomberg terminal, right?
Live Action says, especially in Europe.
Okay, so there's that first move off the open is down. It's a little tepid, though. Yep, overall, pretty slow. Okay.
Salim L says, a number from the bid-ask market orders in relation to bid-ask limits in relation to price.
Okay. Ah, nice. I mean, I'll look into it, Salim, today. What it takes to program for
Salim
them.
L says, then that would give you a number.
But that sounds to me like we could program that up. I don't think that I would charge you $5,000 for it. I'm not going to take $5,000 for an indicator that's not worth $5,000. Might be, well, maybe I could charge you like 100 or 200, but I have to look at how complicated doing that sort of thing is in CQG. Because sometimes they just don't provide you access to the stuff that you want.
Gary Rich says, at live look to fade crude, nat gas, RBOB after the hurricane, and watch some of the majors and refineries.
You think that the dynamics in oil are still negative in the longer term, huh?
Salim L says, oh, that's nice.
Well, it's looking like they might try and cross the spread
Live
here,
Action says,
so
geesh, just closed this short and now bottom opens up.
that might take us down to 39 40, but I closed
Salim
my
L says I
short.
would tell you about the details in person.
Oh, in oil? Is it down right now at the moment in oil? Yeah, well, there was a pretty good jump up and it's coming back. Maybe that's what you guys are talking about. I would tell, yeah. If you want to give me the details, probably the best thing to do would be to go into Discord and message me on Discord or send a message to speculator.seth@protonmail.com. An email. Kenosha Shooter Mega Thread. Okay, so they are, at least on the Donald now, they are picking it up and giving
Salim L says what's your
a
email?
speculator.seth@protonmail.com. So I'm looking at this in the E-mini. I could see them going down to 33.40. I could see them going down to 33, 34, 36-ish. At the moment, though, it's if you really wanted to get a downturn today, you probably don't want it to go right here immediately. But look at the volume. I think that we took it exactly correctly. It was a reversal, but it's very choppy, so you had to take your profits quick and play the queue, and I took it in the right spot too. They went a little bit past me, but
Vlad
when I
Stolyarov
initially
says
put
FB
that,
rallying nicely.
I
Vlad
could see
Stolyarov
there
says
was
Tech
some technical
ISNT a
traders
short.
looking at that spot, so I knew that if they were going to touch it, they were going to go through it. Tech isn't a short. Initial shooting, second shooting, close up. What?
Vlad Stolyarov says CRM 253 now. Salim L says wait speculator Sethet.
Protonmail.com. Let me type it in here for you. We'll be setting
Speculator
up a
Seth Day
website
Trading
soon.
says speculator at protonmail.com. Salim L says Proton?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a more secure email than, say, Gmail.
Salim L says thanks. Vlad Stolyarov says MSFT new highs.
I'm just checking this mega thread here to see if there's anything more about Kenosha that I missed. jeez. Image alleging that the arm blown off guy is
Winston
one of the
Smom
main
says,
organizers
after the
of the
hurricane,
riots.
Lena Horne, stormy weather, 1943, and good morning, Gary Rich.
Oh, they were attacking him with a skateboard. That's what that is.
Mike Salisbury says that was gross to watch. Saw that last night, couldn't sleep watching all that Kenosha stuff.
Did you see the picture of the guy's arm? Holy shit. Was very disturbing. The shooter is Hispanic. Okay. That's interesting. I wonder how that will turn out.
Mike Salisbury says yeah, a few different videos, arm wasn't looking so great.
Oh, this is what I was looking to see.
Mike Salisbury says dude shot in the head also wasn't looking like he was doing very well either.
Oh no, he was screwed. So that was what I was looking for, was the guy being shot in the head, telling the other guy to shoot him. And then he's running up to the shooter, running after the shooter, and the shooter hits him in the head. Shooter turns around, runs away. Yeah, this is a very clear case of self-defense in both shootings. Even this one, the guy that got his arm shot up, he had a pistol in his hand. So, man, and they're trying to steal his rifle and everything. But the thing that I find really interesting about it is here's another
Vlad
video. I
Stolarov
can
says
show you
market
this
not
one,
going
actually.
anywhere, I don't like it.
Where is it?
Vlad Stolarov says 11,788 shall have rallied in NQ.
So, let's see here. I'm gonna have to turn this off.
Mike Salisbury says this stuff has gotten out of hand down there. I saw the guy asking to get shot.
As long as y'all not against each other, then we draw. We against them.
So you see right there? That's the shooter. He is standing here with these three guys and this militia leader guy. So they are pro BLM. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he says.
Protect us, okay? Hell yeah. As long as y'all not against each other, then we draw. We against them. They gonna be here. We all gonna go over there in that parking lot and we gonna form up, all right? As long as you fuck with the government and not with each other, we are with you. With each other, we are with you. All right? As long as you fuck with the government and not with each other, we are with you.
Stupid words, right? Listen, if there's anything I can tell you guys from all of this, if you think that BLM is on your side, or that there's some sort of reasonable stance that you can take in the midst of all of this, you just leave those illusions right now. These people, they want blood and revolution, period. And there's nothing reasonable about what they're doing. And this is now the second instance where a pro BLM person trying to help out in the protests ended up getting seriously attacked from a BLM. So listen, if you are, a brain damaged liberal out there thinking, oh, I'll go to the protests and I'll be fine because I'm on their side, no, that's not
So
happening.
just going off of those last IAEA and Iran headlines, the two facilities are Natanz and Iraq.
Sunday Driver says only Joe Biden can save America. Kamala, 2.
Lucas says Seth. Live action says Sunday Driver, that's funny. Vlad Stolyarov says NQ back to 11,788.
Anyways, so that's the proof that I'm being shown that the guy that was the shooter was actually a part of pro BLM, a militia of sorts. So I've seen a lot of people on Reddit trying to claim that he was a right-wing Bugaloo boy or something like that. That does not appear to be the case from what I'm seeing. But there's very preliminary information. Let's just see what happens. But the information that I have right now is that he was pro BLM. Well, then treasuries sure went, didn't they? Remember when we were pointing out that they were at their highs and everything? They're already a good 3 or 4 ticks further now. So is the treasury, is the E-mini going to sell down here? I don't think that they've picked up enough trade in the opening here to really push down much further. In fact, you could maybe even buy it. Let's see if I'm wrong, because it is going pretty good. We could just be getting a bunch of new participants that are willing to push it down. No, see, that's not enough. Let's see. I might be a little bit early, but it's going okay so far.
So the reason that those two nuclear facilities are under investigation is Iraq appears to have a heavy water plant under construction, and the reports say that it could support a reactor for producing weapons grade plutonium. The other site, Natanz, is possibly and has a uranium enrichment plant, which could produce a highly enriched uranium for weapons.
Gary Rich says, well, stop talking about it and giving it the attention. Who cares about them?
I think it is. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I do need to fix that. That was the squawk. What was I saying? Oh, it's important because this is directly affecting the election, guys. Wisconsin. So again, I'll reiterate what I said before because, maybe not all you were around. This morning there was a poll out in Wisconsin from Trafalgar Group, who recall was the pollster that saw the swing in Donald Trump's favor that correctly predicted the 2016 election in those states. It was the one with the individual state poll that ended up being right, like the only one, Trafalgar Group. And they have Donald Trump up by 1 in Wisconsin. And now you're getting all of this. And I think that there is a very good chance that this is going to push things further in Donald Trump's direction. So it's very pertinent to the election. You can see just from the media's reaction and everything, the Republican convention seems to be going very well for the Republicans. The rioting seems to be harming Democrats. And it looks like the race is turning back into foregone conclusion that Donald Trump is going to win very quickly.
Sunday Driver says I bought a new microphone. Bayer Dynamics M201TG. Got a great deal on it.
I'm not familiar with that one. Ooh, is it a shotgun mic? No, it's a dynamic mic. It's a hypercardioid. Cool. And you like how it's working for you? The thing with a microphone like that, you got to be really close. The hypercardioid, you got to be like literally right here like this.
Live Action says Joe is
That's a
scared
good
he has
trade
to
too.
stop hiding in his basement.
Yeah. Well, so Joe Biden, he made a comment about it. He did. He said it's un-American. There's the issue is you're going to have to do more than that. That's not going to be enough. You're going to have to come in and say, like what Donald Trump is doing, is saying this is unacceptable. Looting is unacceptable. They should call in the National Guard. Like, you have to denounce these, the rioting in the most uncertain terms. You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, it's un-American, and then hide in your basement. Really, it should be like, go to Kenosha, survey the damage, denounce it, you know? Like, it's got to be very... Anyways.
Live Action says didn't he donate to bail out the protesters?
I think that there were some people working on his campaign that had been donating to funds that bailed out protesters, yes.
RJ Wheel says tell me when Sunday.
After Powell tomorrow, I think ES will sharply test 3382 or 3390. I don't know if that makes much sense.
Winston's mom says M201 TG dynamic microphone, hypercardioid.
There you go. She posted a link for it. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool looking. I'll give it that. The question is just, do you like having it literally right up to your face? But having a supercardioid dynamic microphone is really great for, like, if you're in a noisy environment. You know, like, that's a stage microphone. You use that in a concert and it won't pick up the background noise. Okay, so Chewy's saying dumb things here again. I don't know.
Gary Rich says riot trades, go long or sell puts on guns, body cam, police sim technology, prison stocks and funeral homes.
Oh yeah. So get this. Here's the thing that I find
Sunday
interesting
Driver says
about
it's not
this
that
sort of
bad as
thing.
far as distance.
My understanding is that gun technology has not even come close to keeping up with armor technology. So you can get you yourself can go and buy this like level 3 armor stuff now that will pretty much stop anything. Like this AR-15, yeah. If you had armor on, wouldn't do a thing. Now that doesn't help you if you get shot in the head. But armor, I think that if I was going to invest in that direction, I think I would want to go for armor. I don't know of an individual name that would be good, but police sim technology, prison stocks, funeral homes. Gosh, dude. Okay. Private security firms will do well in the coming years. Yeah. Oh man, I hope that I never have to do something like that. Okay, I need to write here in Discord because I want they're they're arguing with Chewy, which I'm all about because I just don't agree with a lot of his traits, but I don't want to be like attack him for it. Okay, sorry about that. I hope that I did that right.
Mike Salisbury says anyone here IB was stopping people from being able to trade options on
know.
mega caps like AAPL and TSLA. I was hearing people talking about this but not sure if it's true.
I honestly think that something should be done about some of this options manipulation. So for a broker to come in and say no would be great. Or they should increase the margin requirements. I don't know.
Sunday Driver says bullet technology will defeat body armor every time.
No. At least that's not what I was told. So I've been shown body armors and they're showing like your typical AR-15 round barely even puts a dent in it. That doesn't mean that the bullet technology couldn't advance and overtake the armor technology. But at the moment, what has happened is that there's been a ton of innovation in armor and not a whole lot has changed in guns and bullets.
Salim L says why are people trading stocks? They are most illiquid and only go in one direction once in a blue moon.
Well, they're trading stocks because with Robinhood, you have a very low cost of entry. You can basically go in and start day trading with just putting a few $100s in an account, and that's it. You don't need fancy software or a broker, commissions, data feeds, news squawks, all of these sorts of things. And if you're looking for patterns, you want to trade a certain technical pattern, then you can just trade that one technical pattern and so you can scan all of the stocks to find it. Personally, I don't think that this is really very fertile ground for a retail day trader to make money, but because it's just the way that it functions. Like stocks, it's way more appealing to people than futures. There's too many things about futures that chase them away. But you know what? That's just to our advantage, right? Less competition for you. Now, when futures is the popular thing and everybody's trying to trade futures and they're all coming to this channel and we have like 1 million subscribers and stuff, then it'd be a different story, right?
Sunday Driver says I know a bit about body armor. I have a set. If you are concerned about events, buy night vision capabilities.
By night vision capabilities? Okay. That's expensive stuff.
Mike Salisbury says at Salim L some people have next to zero or actually positive execution cost for stocks company I'm working with. Also some people with thin inefficient products that are easily pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
Winston's mom says Chichikov, the police to use sound cannons, LRADs. And, Sonic, is a burger hot dog drive-up and order chain fast food restaurant with really good milkshakes.
Sunday Driver says you are seeing standard ball ammo. Armor-piercing ammo, which is illegal to buy, has no problem going through body armor.
So some of this newer stuff, even the armor-piercing stuff, it can't get through it. But you're right. No, civilians don't have access to that, so it's kind of a mute point, isn't it? I guess the point is that if I was going to be going to a riot, I would have some body armor on, and just but listen, I don't want to give the impression that I'm promoting anything. For myself and my recommendation is stay as far away from that stuff as possible, man. There's no reason to take on the risk. There's nothing's going to be accomplished from it. I hope to God that it's not your property that ends up being attacked or burned down. Right? And then you have I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. I myself, like what happened to that protester, I don't think I could do that. Runs down the street, shoots 3 guys, while being attacked. That's impressive. I don't know. I don't really have any gun training. I don't think that I could. I don't think I'm as badass as that guy, and you probably aren't either. So play it safe. And it's just not okay. Like the violence is just not okay. We need to avoid the violence as much as we can. I know a lot of people on the right are like, well, when are we going to do something? You don't need to do anything. Democrats are attacking their own cities. Just let them do it.
Mike Salisbury says, oh man, I read a great article from Forbes on Robinhood the other day. I will share it here. Read it later on if you guys want. Mike Salisbury says shoot can't share it URL is too long. Was explaining well. The PFOF model Robinhood makes 70% of their revenue from. They are paid 17C per 100 shares sold, 58 cents per option contract sold PFOF.
Yeah. Man, I didn't know that Robinhood had does Robinhood provide demo accounts or something? Because I would like to record some of this. Because apparently when you make a trade and it's a winning trade, there's like confetti and like the app is all gamified and stuff. I just that is so ridiculous. The whole thing is just a big joke.
Sunday Driver says body armor will stop a bullet, but you are still going to the hospital. The impact is like being hit by a sledgehammer.
That's true, depending on the bullet, of course, right? I don't think that a 9mm bullet really feels like being hit like on a sledgehammer, but it still hurts. As I understand it.
Vlad Stolyarov says CRM now 266. Vlad Stolyarov says only up 24%. Vlad Stolyarov says post earnings. Salim L says Mike trading thin stocks doesn't give you an edge, you just follow price to the upside. Some stock traders, they trade like crazy monkeys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. What are some attributes that would make you an effective trader? And I myself, I think that I'm really serious. Like, honestly, I'm too serious. And I was like, well, is being really serious and maybe stoic a positive attribute for trading? And I'm not so sure. But I have noticed that those equity traders don't take it seriously at all, do they? And I think that this is just a kangaroo market, right? It goes up and up and up because a virtuous self-reinforcing cycle wherein people think that they should buy things because of the Federal Reserve, and so they go up. And eventually this ends in all of those day traders losing everything. That's always how it ends. We need a cup that says trade like a drunken monkey. Wow. I mean, that's what I was kind of going for with the traders going to trade is, I mean, you can take it a bunch of different ways, but one of them is that sometimes the markets are going to do irrational things, right? Mm-mm.
Winston's mom says Mike Salisbury, I think that linked successfully. Is that the article you wanted? Mike Salisbury says at Winston's mom, yeah, that is the article one was talking about. Very good, save it for later.
The guy in Austin was a libertarian too. That's it. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, that guy would be dead if he didn't have a gun.
Live Action says
I
at
should
Dan
stop
H, be
reading this
careful,
out.
I was
I think-
banded for saying similar.
I think we know everything that we need
Gary
to know
Rich
for now.
says someone breaks into my house. I'm calling Home Depot, ordering a pallet of drywall. It will be a Jackson Pollock splatterfest.
Oh jeez. Well, one good thing I can take from all of this is that it seems to me that nobody's really going to be talking about it. Like, okay, so let's go to the CNN front page. What's on CNN right now? Oh, actually,
Mike
it is
Salisbury
on
says
CNN.
lol at Gary Rich.
Okay. This is not a huge inflammatory headline or anything, but it is on the front page. Let's check at my Facebook. Are people on Facebook talking about it? What's the best trading course? That disaster. That's going to be a disaster thread. That's not what we're here for. Oh, Bundy was arrested. Again. Well, I don't see anything about it, but maybe people are still waking up. What is the best trading course in the market in your opinion, and why YouTube? Okay, you're stupid. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great things that you can learn from watching this news channel.
Salim L says if I was to trade stocks, there should be no restrictions on shorting, no halts, and extreme liquidity and opportunity from both sides. I don't think stocks have that. Maybe Coca-Cola or something.
Well, I mean, the thing is that we don't really have full level 2 data very widespread for me to know, but it sounds to me like they're not very liquid. These guys say YouTube, listen, there's some good stuff that you can get from my channel and everything, but it's not a full trading course. And my whole thing has been that you have to come up with your own edges. We were talking about this in chat earlier. I know Gary was kind of there, but I don't know if he saw what I was saying about it. Was I made my video and the whole point of my video was you gotta learn the fundamentals, but that I can't just give you setups. And some people don't like that. They are clicking that link and expecting to know like, oh, this is exactly the first trading course I should buy, and yada 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 yada. So then I come in here and then they're like, oh, what's the best trading course? Do it on you. Watch YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, a bunch of YouTube guys that are all pushing courses. Few links that I'm gonna have to answer this. I'm just gonna post my video about this. I have 2 videos about this really. Oh, where is it? There's that one, and there's. Oh, where's my one about? That's not on there. There we go. Why is this not on that playlist? Oh, it is. It just wasn't showing it to me for some reason.
Salim L says I like how you said we don't have full level 2 data. Deos that mean that stock tape reader are going besides the Pyont.
Yeah, they're not using order flow as we understand it.
Dan H says I noticed that some DOMs are more than the standard 10 up and down. Do the expanded DOMs have an advantage seeing more price levels?
Yeah, so I if you use Rhythmic data, and I recently switched back over to Rhythmic, then you can see up to 64 levels. And I do find that useful, especially when you're trading like the NQ. Like, I mean, come on, 10 ticks is just not enough. You know what I mean?
Chichikov says Seth I have trouble understanding how fundamental knowledge relates to short-term day trading.
Okay.
All I can come up with is fading news spikes under certain conditions.
Okay, so I mean that is probably your first spot, right? Is when you day trade, it's the same strategies, right? It's like you're taking the same sort of a trade that you would trade if you were a fundamental trader trading on monthly timeframes. It's just that you are watching the technicals of the market and you're taking a risk reward that only keeps you in the market for a very short amount of time, and that's the difference. But it's the same sort of triggers. but it doesn't have to be breaking news, right? So a lot of it is just the situation, right? So right now we know the situation is that Jackson Hole is tomorrow, and the Federal Reserve is talking about average interest rate targeting. Is that the way I want to say it? Yeah, average interest rate targeting. So there's going to be a lot of people trading it off of inflation. So when I see a move start to develop, or I see them go down to a certain point, I can put the technicals of that movement in context. Then I can make decisions about what is likely to happen. Right? That's how I was able to know with the 2 trades that I took today that I couldn't really go for a really wide trade because there wasn't a lot of people participating. But I also knew that, probably the chances are that they're going to be overall buying because they're expecting some inflation. And inflation is good for stocks. It increases the prices of stocks, right? So that's how you can do it with your fundamentals. But I guess, the thing is, the caveat that I got to put on that is that I'm not telling you to ignore technicals. Not at all. But what I am telling you is that technicals aren't predictive and that you have to include fundamentals too. You want to look at the whole picture, man. You want to see everything. You want to see what are the fundamentals, who are the players in the markets, how do they react to these sorts of things. And we're going to make it when we get to 5,000. I'm going to make a video that's a bit bigger than that, but it's still a work in progress. When shorting physical shares, the borrowing costs may be very high. Some are 9% per month. Really? There are no restrictions in shorting stocks or sell calls? Well, usually there aren't. Usually there aren't. But let's be honest, Rich. It's easier to buy a stock. No question about it. It is easier to sell to buy a stock.
Chichikov says thanks for explanation. Look forward to that video.
Yeah. I don't know if I still have the picture. I have it somewhere.
Mike Salisbury says I want to trade options again, but I don't trade the brokers in Canada or really any broker that PFOF routes my order.
So the thing that I'm having a hard time understanding right now is
Mike Salisbury says sorry, don't trust.
Is there a stock trading platform that is actually good? Because they were complaining about I think it was E-Trade yesterday, and I was reading the thread on Wall Street Bets, and I was like, there's not actually a really good stock trading platform out there, is there?
Vlad Stolyarov says I didn't find a perfect
I didn't find
platform.
the perfect platform. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Fidelity's really good about this and this," even though you are paying a 60 cents per contract or something like that. But I think that their software is shit.
Price level that are accurate than a choppy full order book, especially on NQ. HHHH.
Anyways,
Stephen Wright says I like IB, but platform is meh.
Exactly, like IB is probably the best one, right? IB and Thinkorswim are probably the top two from a platform perspective, and they're both lacking compared to what you get in futures. Isn't that interesting?
RJ Wheel says not that I know of. But with micro trading on stocks, someone will build one. Mike Salisbury says DTTW has a good prop platform, only for equities though, and you have to be part of the company. MISS says hello,
eventually this is going to break up. Hey, me, SSS. Welcome back.
Stephen Wright says I be good for short availability etc. Not that I do much of that.
I'm going to respond to this Facebook post here.
Vlad Stolyarov says CRM parabolic. Vlad Stolyarov says 28%. Vlad Stolyarov says NQ not moving anywhere. Vlad Stolyarov says waiting for push-up at least once.
Sunday Driver says reminder. Everyone thumbs down this video. Elbow cough.
Vlad Stolyarov says they must be profit-taking at upper Bollinger Bands on daily as usual. Yuri says so it will break or not.
I don't know. If you force me to make a bet, I'm going to bet that we break the high.
Salim L says I saw a trader trade the news trying to figure out the from facial expressions which trade to take. But he captured a fast move at best 10 ticks in and out in 700 milliseconds.
Yeah, that's well. He knows what he's doing. If he's fast about it. Gonna get oil here down in 10 minutes.
MISS says do you like NQ? Salim L says he is a facial expression trader. Salim L says a facial you know what I mean? Vlad Stolyarov says stocks ran way better today than futures.
Sunday Driver says buy platinum now. Still under 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Gold, gold recovered that dip. So I don't 100% understand why they sold off after the goods orders, but they bought it back strong, and the dollar took a little dive there. Okay. I'm on baby duty while mom takes the kids to school. go. Cool. All right. Sorry about that. I could not help myself. I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to say something. So nothing. I know that this sounds so dumb, but like, I believe that my YouTube channel can be really useful for a new trader. I can come in and I can tell you a lot about the software and oh my god. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go check on the kid. Anyways, the channel can be useful, but if you're just relying on just the channel, you need to come up with your own edges.
MISS's says Seft. MISS's says Gary.
Shh, be very, very quiet. He's still asleep, but struggling. He woke up.
Sunday driver says whose baby did you steal?
That's not my baby. Look at him. You see the family resemblance? He kind of has my facial structure. He has his mom's eyes, which is a good thing because my eyes are hideous. They're not hideous, but they're kind of weird, aren't they?
Claudio Ibarola says hi baby.
You should just go back to sleep, buddy.
Salim L says HIIIIII little doll.
Sunday driver says got a Zoom.
Later, Sunday. Well, my guess is still they were going to get above 3450, but I don't see like a good risk reward situation or anything like that. I suppose that if I had kept that initial trade that I have, that I could still be holding it for another point or two, but overall, I don't know if it's worth it unless we get some more news come out.
MISS's says China fires 2 missiles into Suez, warning to US, in huge escalation following spy plane breach.
Oh, really? So um just to reiterate, the market kind of ignored this, and we don't know what the result of this is. But Pompeo was saying that the U.S. is taking actions today about this. So I don't know if that means that the U.S. is going to stand up to these military drills that China is doing, or what. But it kind of is looking like that this might escalate. If you see a strong down flush, sorry, I shouldn't say. I'm not telling you to
Salim
do
L
anything.
says you're blue straight on their faces. HHHHHHHH. They thought was going to stay HHHHH.
If I see a strong down move, flush out of nowhere, I'm going with it.
Salim L says so many stops.
How can you be so happy when you just woke up? You should still be asleep. Wouldn't you rather still be asleep instead of being held? He's like, I don't know what you're saying. It sounds to me though like you're not 100% happy though. Hey, would you prefer that I just make happy thoughts all the time like this? Yeah. Yeah.
Yuri says grin better way to decrease stress.
Let's check in on oil here.
Salim L says HHHHHHHH.
Yeah.
Claudio Ibarola says did you prove the jigsaw charts?
What do you mean by prove? I mean, I've used them.
Claudio Ibarola says how are they?
They're okay. I don't think that they're as good as the jigsaw charts, and I'm probably going to continue to use
Salim
jigsaw.
L says I wish I had a
Or
wife
sorry,
and baby.
I don't think that they're as good as the Ninja Trader chart, so I'll continue using the Ninja Trader bridge, but they get the job done. So they get the job done.
Claudio Ibarola says the news.
Yeah. That's a weird sound you've never made before. So oil not responding to the inventory news too strongly. But they may just be getting started. We'll see. One more point to 34.50 in the E-mini. Ooh, you had slobber. Why did I do that? That's gross.
Salim L says he is gonna make more money than daddy. Daddy outdated. Genes only get better.
Maybe.
Very Rich says how sweet both of the babies are balding. The little one will grow hair, the other needs Rogaine.
I mean,
MISS's says Seft.
if he decides he likes it, he'll have a real
MISS's
edge.
says the launch is said to have been in response to the major incident on Tuesday, in which the Chinese PLA military angrily denounced that a US U-2 spy plane had allegedly entered a no-fly zone.
That's correct.
Yuri says weak volume since June.
Wait until after Labor Day. I think after Labor Day, the big boys will get involved, and then we'll really see where this is going. What you looking at? You're getting out squirmy. Why don't you just go back to sleep? Yeah. Maybe you should just go back to sleep.
Gary Rich says Seth the light is reflecting off your shiny head. Cool, 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 cool.
Yeah, I bet. I have a face lotion that kind of mats it a little bit, but I didn't do that today. Mom sure is taking a long time, but she should be back soon. Should be back soon. What do you think? Do you want to trade? You tell me right now. You want to buy or sell? We'll do it and see how good you are. He's like, really? You would let me do that? Yeah, just say buy, 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 or sell, sell, sell. We'll do it. No? Not ready for that response? Okay.
Salim L says I would rather be
won't
bald
rush
and a
you.
man than with hair
You
and
want to
act
do
like
it. You
woman.
don't have to. I mean,
Hair is
listen,
for
you
woman.
don't have to follow my hopes and dreams, right? That's the thing. I don't want to be projecting my own hopes and dreams onto you because my own hopes and dreams are stupid. I mean, they're not stupid, but you know, you can lose a little bit of money doing my hopes and dreams. So trading is not something that I would ever try and like convince somebody into doing. You know what I mean? It's something that like if you just find that irresistible urge, then all for it. But it's not something that you want to convince people into. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear all of these noises he's making? You're acting like you can't even breathe, dude.
Salim L says he said daddy give me meat or milk.
He said, Daddy, give me meat or milk. Well, Mom will be back soon and you could have milk if you would like. You're being so weird. Are you always like this in the morning? Uh-uh.
Claudio Ibarola
old
says
is
how
he?
old is he?
6
Mike
months.
Salisbury says I think it is better to dissuade people from trade.
It is.
Claudio Ibarola says 7 months.
Yeah. 6 or 7. It was February. It's the beginning of February, so. I guess we're getting close to 7. Some people really should be dissuaded from trading, man. There are so many times when I'm on I'm on a forum or whatever, and you get a certain reaction from somebody. It's either like just a really angry, egotistical reaction, or just an indication that they just don't have a very open mind. It's like, dude, do yourself a favor, just don't trade. You're just not. You are just not made for this, man. See it every day. Yeah. Yeah.
Salim L says like what?
Like what? Well, like if I'm making a post,
RJ Wheel says guys who defend
Yeah.
some crazy strategy.
if I come in and I make a post and I say, I've been doing really successful just trading the news. And then this guy comes in and he says, no, news doesn't matter. Just follow this moving average. Anybody who says anything different is stupid, yada, yada, yada. Don't trade. that guy shouldn't trade. He's showing that he's bought full on into a particular ideology way of trading, and that he doesn't have an open mind. And
RJ Wheel says, yikes, that was me, Seth.
right, because this is why I felt like for my video that I released on Monday, that's the message I wanted to give to new traders. Trading is about innovating, and if you are a closed-minded person, how are you going to innovate? You know?
RJ Wheel says, I respect news.
Yep. I really don't see.
Salim L says, the spaghetti god.
I just can't imagine trading without having some idea of what's going on with the news. Yeah. You got a lot of spit. Let's find the spit rack. Well, there's 3450. It's past. Oh, we've been there for a while. It looks like they're ready for more. They totally have room to go to say 52, 54.
Salim L says, RJ Wheel, don't respect it, kiss it. Salim L says, Seth, you look yoked on that pose.
You look yoked. What do you mean? I look super buff. Because I feel like my head looks tiny. Because he's so much closer to the camera and it's a short focal length. You know, some insects, spit at people to be threatening. Are you threatening me? You okay sitting like this? Because we could put you in the crib. We could. Stop spitting. Stop spitting. Gross.
Salim L says, most traders are frail like me. Lobo Trader says, smiling face, I have 3, but they're too old to sit on my lap.
I wonder how long he will continue to want to do that. He is. I tell you what, he's this whole thing about like don't assume gender and all that. Oh, he is so clearly a boy, man. Like
Lobo Trader says lol.
yesterday, he has like this these cups that like stack into each other, and he had the biggest one, and he was holding it with two hands and slamming it down on the table as hard as he could. And I was like, he could hurt somebody doing that. He's 7 months old.
Gary Rich says Seth, I can't wait till your trading course come out.
Well, thanks. Are you going to help? So, I mean, it's going to be a free course. So, I'll show you what we got
Salim
so far.
L says don't start with you, Joe Biden, gender confusion.
Let's move him to the other hand. So
Lobo Trader says ouch, slightly smiling face.
It's because I kind of thought that maybe we would be doing some of that this week, but then we had plenty to talk about anyways, so we didn't. Here it is right here. So I've been writing like an introduction. That's something about the nature of edge. So the next section I'm going to be writing about is significant sources of edge. But then the rest of this is like outline of the subjects that I want to stick in there. So you can see a lot of this are basic fundamentals, right? How to trade news, economic numbers. I mean, there's going to be a couple of things in there, but a lot of it is going to be how does the market actually work? That sort of a thing. So it's my intention is to keep it focused on fundamental facts that are provable and not turn it into a here's a setup sort of a thing. But it's going to be free. So it's going to be it can be a community thing if, I mean, I'm taking the point on writing it and everything, but I think we'll have a couple of streams here where we can go through it and you guys can make recommendations.
PRT1 says when and how on course.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's going to take a really long time to write. I'm like, it may be a page a day, and I bet you that this is going to end up being like 200 pages at least. So it's going to be a while. But I was thinking about you specifically, Gary Rich, and thinking, well, I hope that he likes it.
PRT1 says
Gary
Gone with
Rich
the
likes
Wind.
it. I think I'm on the right track.
Mike Salisbury says if we contribute, will we get name credit? PRT1 says lol.
Sure. I don't know how we do that because we might end up with a lot of contributors, but
Salim L says you need to pay for marketing to get it famous.
nah. I don't care about that. I mean, the thing I'm starting to realize is that if the YouTube channel, if I give
Mike
people
Salisbury says could be
truly
just put all the
useful
end all who
information-
contributed or something.
Yeah. It seems to me that truly useful information about trading only goes so far. And if
Lobo
you really
Trader
want to
says
have
I am
like
in the
a
process of
really
collecting info
successful
around
YouTube
Treasury,
channel,
wondering if Bond Trader wouldn't be a good source of information? And if so, where to look for them? Are they on YT?
I don't know. I haven't really found a whole lot on YouTube about
Winston's
bonds.
mom says that will teach me to walk away from the keyboard for a few minutes. I missed Asher time. Hello baby Asher.
He's still here. Anyways, so after I get all of my main
Salim
content
L
through,
says true, most people are dumb.
I've got a couple of I have a couple of really important videos to get through. The one that I really want to make is the greatest lie in day trading, which is that you should follow other people. But I'm going to have to like film outside and stuff for that one. So that's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to be outside of my comfort zone. And then I have the one which is trading nirvana, which is like the whole big caboodle. And there's a couple of other things that I just think would do well on YouTube. But after that, I think, well, and in the meantime, I think that I'm going to start working towards having more entertainment content, because I think that a lot of it is going to be, if the information itself isn't going to attract people, then we need to attract them with entertainment. So I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to start making more content along those lines. Like the video that did the best on the channel was when we had the earthquake. That was entertaining, right? I turned off the auto read.
Mike Salisbury says, I have one suggestion for the manual. A good explanation of how prices move, how prices can move without trades, how delta one direction or the other does not indicate trade direction.
So that's all going to be in here about reading volume. Right? So this is all the order flow stuff.
Dan H says statistical methods to prove things would be great.
Yep, I got that in here. Programming, evaluating performance is where I was going to put that kind of stuff. Bid-ask mechanics really helped me when I started from JPJ trading. Yeah. We're going to have, the things that we're going to be focusing on are things about provable things about how the market works, like the stuff that you learn from reading the CME wiki, That's going to be the main focus. And, recommendations about how to deal with news and positioning and things like that is going to be the only stuff that's going to really be kind of more in the opinion area. But I don't know at this point. Oh, I tell you what, those 2 trades that I took today, it's really hard for me to take those 2 trades and they just go through perfectly and not say that it works. The technical edge appears to work. I don't think that if you always traded that technical edge that you would be profitable, because news will eventually come in and screw you over. When the market is dead and there's no reason for it to really be moving, it works extremely well. Well, right now, we really haven't collected enough information to really say that, but it sure feels like that today. So it took 2 for 2. Exactly perfect. They didn't go against me hardly at all, even. Mike, yeah, there's different order matching. I mean, I don't have to go too much into the different order matching because it doesn't really matter, but it is an important thing to point out to people, I think. And then you link them to the documentation on it. You say, here's where you can learn more about that. Yeah. I think, though, my intention is to write it all. And then I think what's going to happen is you guys are going to come back behind me and you're going to point out the things where I've said something that you can prove is wrong or that I left out, and fill in the holes and stuff. Did your main chain reading simply volume indicator? If yes, tell us one thing right now. So it was through my volume indicator. And what I see right now is that the buyers have the shorts have actually been building up quite a bit of profit. So this uptrend doesn't really have a whole lot capping it, but the cost basis has not moved. So you could still see a move back down to 34, 45, 75. But I wouldn't be outright shorting it because there's no reason for this trend to turn around right now. But if it does turn around, that's where I'd be looking for. Will you include information on how to retire and buy an alpaca farm? Once I do that part, I will include it in the manual. They must have something going on down there because she should be back by now. But yes, we want to retire and have an alpaca farm. Oh man, the treasuries came all the way back down. The price movement, I really cannot explain. I've never seen this before in treasuries. Like, treasuries usually go one way. And to see it go from the bottom all the way to the high of the day, new highs, and then come all the way back down is incredibly odd. Apparently, the storm surge on the northwest Gulf Coast is expected to be extremely severe. So, if you live in that area, do not ignore evacuation warnings or anything like that. Please go somewhere that is safe because they're going to get flooded hardcore. I've seen traders use open interest changes, and it is a huge part of their trading. A section on open interest and how it could be used would be good. Do you really mean open interest? Because how are they calculating open interest on a scalping time frame? Or is that maybe that is an indicator? Nah, on day to day. But even on day to day, how do you look at that? Because the only thing that I know is the commitment of trader reports that's released at the end of the week. And that just shows you what happened the week before. I'm starting to realize that this is all set up so that you can basically see everything except for people's positions. Honestly, I don't know how to use it well either. I don't even have an open interest indicator in NinjaTrader. I'd have to go. You'd have to link me to an indicator first, and I could explain how it works. One of the things that I'm hoping this will do is it will maybe fill in my own knowledge gaps. Hopefully, when I'm going through and I'm trying to be so thorough, I'll realize little things here and there that I didn't know, that I had missed or didn't realize were significant, Because I think for this manual, for most experienced traders, that's probably what it's going to give you is like places where you didn't realize that something was significant, and it improves your trading. From the side, you look like that stern actor that beats everyone and runs from it. High EDs and short rates use the day-to-day OI changes direct from CME, not an indicator per se graphically. And they give you daily changes? Oh, maybe they do. Maybe they do. So, but we need to talk about that. So I don't think I have that on my list. No, we don't. So, somewhere in here, we should talk about, open interest and commitment of traders reports. And then just CME reports in general we need to talk about. Yes, the CVOT members use this that are locals. Okay, I need to check that out. I think that I'm realizing that a lot of the movement in treasuries just has to do with global money flows, and I'm so clueless about how to look at that stuff, I'll try to ask around about how this is used in data is pulled. Yeah. Find more and email it to me or put it in Discord. Sounds like the Hurricane Laura is going to be no joke. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, there she is. I was just about to message her. Okay, where are we at? Looks like you guys pushed it up to 34.52, like I said. Well, so if I can show you here, the thing that I'm noticing is that according to my indicator, and this is a spot where it's not really able to tell us a whole lot, but it's suggesting that the longs are coming off here. So we could be seeing some profit taking here, but we could also be seeing some passive selling. And so that's why you're seeing here that the number of shorts is picking up. So I don't know if that means that they're going to drop it or not, but we did see that the price basis came up a bit. So now it's like 34.47. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, the cumulative delta is up. So I don't think that really makes for a really great setup unless I see the dollar start to do something. I wonder. So the other thing I'm looking at is these treasuries coming up and then back down. I wonder if the dollar will make another move, because that was like a pretty solid, like 20 cents up and 30 cents down. Do you think that trading can be considered a job? Well, it certainly can be, but very few people get to that level. Mm. It says, yeah, it's a job, all right. Mm, mm, mm. What? I currently hate the ES, and the NQ is my current favorite ace. Uh, this, listen, man, you be careful with the NQ. All right, that is the Widowmaker, man. I've seen more retail traders blow up trying to trade the NQ than anything else. Do you know bots who hasn't been around for a while because there's been medical issues in his family. But he started out, he wanted to trade the ES, and he blew out like I think 5 times trying to trade the ES in NQ. And then he came over to treasuries and he started using volume profile, and he was quite successful with that for a long time, up until this more recent market kind of started getting crazy, and then he started looking at ES with me. And but man, NQ is just a beast. I really don't know how you trade it without some like automated. I mean, clearly you would want to use bracket orders and stuff, but even then, it's just so wild sometimes. That or just have a really big stop. This is where I keep saying that they really need to make it so that, well, this isn't NQ, this is oil, right? Oil is not really moving as much as I expected it to, though. NQ. They really need to make it in Jigsaw so you can aggregate prices, because you just can't see enough. It just moves too fast.
Ace Trades says S will always be my bread and butter, but I got lucky today in the NQ.
Yeah. Well, this is where I think you got to be careful, right? Because in this market, you get 4 points. That's pretty dang good, right? I took 2 trades and got 16 ticks on both of them. Ignore that first one. That was a mistake. Why are all of these messed up? He has just kept slamming my fingers in the door over and over. Yeah, well, because I think the place Ace where your setup works really well is when they're about to initiate a real trade, you know? So, like, if we had come back to, let's say, 47, so where could we have tried to take this? Probably right here at 33.46 or around about. That one we probably could have taken and held, and then maybe it would retest it, but then we would be good. Or we could have taken it there. That would have been just as good. And then it runs, right? But before that, that's not what they were doing, really, were they? It was just kind of chopping all over the place. So I think that when there's like they're not really initiating anything. This makes sense. That's kind of the downside of trading a technical edge, right? You can get 60 ticks on NQ all the time in a couple of mil. What? Really?
Salim L says you can get 60 ticks on NQ all the time in a couple ms.
I wanted to come in here and see how my beginning trader video was doing. Sure are gaining a lot of subscribers lately. A month ago, we were at 3,000, and we're already a quarter of the way to 4,000. Really. When the run was on, I was too gun shy to enter and then just watched. And then when I got brave, it drove back down. Yeah. This is where you got to pop into Discord because I can send you the thing that I've been working off of works really, really well in tight trade. But you need to I can't send it to you via email because it's a DLL. It's been packaged. That's better. Let's just hide the. Now we don't have to worry about revealing sensitive information. Okay, anyways, what was I doing? Not bad. Not bad. I tell you what, my video about the trading computer hardware has done so well. I'm really quite shocked. Yeah, even though this one is past the 2 hours, it's still getting a good number of views. That's really good. And it's turning up again today. That's good. 50% retention, so it's not bad. I didn't do a very good job at the end of this video keeping them in all the way, but we're okay. I do lose a good number of people at the beginning, so maybe my intros need to be a little bit more convincing. I think I know how to fix that for the next video. I'm gonna need help. Man, it sucks that we're still like social distancing, Ace, because I could use your help. I need to go outside and record a couple of things. So I want to do is a parody video. And the impression click rate did go down a little bit. That's interesting. It actually increased on Wednesday. That's good. 10% click-through rate is really good. And I am getting people visiting the video from YouTube search, which means that I did name it correctly. Cool. Cool. Man, look at the E-mini. That's unusual. It seems like there's a lot of shorts building up here. It's just, I mean, I guess these are all-time high prices, right? Yeah. It's all-time highs, and they're just kind of lackadaisically moving. But, I mean, Jackson Hole tomorrow must be a really big part of that. Oh, Viraj Patel says, if the Fed announces average inflation targeting, then this is how we'll all pronounce the acronym. AIT. AIT? Or we run out of requests? Is it not? Oh, you're right. It is. I'm sorry. So what did I miss here? You guys are having a nice conversation with Win. I was disappointed with a recent purple purchase. It's comfortable, but even 2 months later, it still gives off a chemical smell. Really? I have a Sleep Number bed and I quite like it. Sleep Number has some nice stuff. It's way overpriced, but they got some nice stuff. Synchronicity. I read about the purple. I often see in the reviews there's a chemical smell, but usually it goes away. I will Google for ideas for you. We need to monetize your room. I'm about ready to jump ship and do my own room instead of making my overlords all of their money. Well, I could be wrong, but I think that, like, honest to truth, I think that you make more money running a YouTube channel than you do starting a trading room. Like, straight up, you could do a trading room, and let's say you get a dozen guys and they each pay like $50, $100. Okay. So you could make I suppose you could make let's say that you could make $5,000 from a day trading room, all right? YouTube has like a way higher upper bound. Oh, look at them turning down. So maybe the short would work. To 47, 48. Let's say 48 would be if you wanted to take this one. I'm not getting a clear signal of any sort, but we're far enough away. There's a good chance they come back down to here, and you're getting a good enough risk reward on it that I think you could take it, especially if you were able to get like 52, 53. Anyways, if you're doing a YouTube channel, I mean, if you get to one of these channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, they're probably making more than $5,000 a month. You know? So I think in the long run, it makes more sense to do it as a YouTube channel, not have a room. But this goes back to my larger thing, which is that I don't think you want to follow other people. You follow other people, you always be a little bit like just like this one. I think this is an okay trade, but I wasn't really looking for it. But, if you were just waiting for me to say something, I would be in it before you, you know? How do you charge people to be in your YouTube channel? No, well, you don't. You just make money off of the advertising. Once you get to 10,000 subscribers, then you can do subscriptions. I really wish that YouTube would decrease that, but Um, you could do subscriptions then, but no, I think that you just make good content and you can, man, like these channels. So I have 4,000 subscribers. These channels that have 20,000 subscribers, 40,000 subscribers. I mean, holy crap. Oh, you're saying YouTube will pay me because I have people in my room. Yeah. YouTube basically will pay you $10 for every 1,000 people that come through. Is basically what it comes out to. So think about the views and stuff. Number of views that you can get. We get how much do we get? We get about 12,000 views a month. Yep. And your RPM is about 12. You can do the math. And that's for a really small 4,000 subscriber channel. How much traffic do you get from Porn Monkey? I don't think I've gotten any. So work my butt off, get 4,000 subscribers, and I make $40 a month. It would be more than $40, but yeah. But then if your channel has 100,000 subscribers, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at some of these channels. Wait, let's see what we can find here. I come over here, day trading. Okay. Live stock market. This guy has, and I really don't know how these guys do it. Because I think this is the one where it's like they don't even show you anything. It's just like a chart. Okay, so Zip Trader is really popular. He's a stock guy. He's okay. Does it show? Okay, he has 256,000 subscribers. Here, let's go look him up on Social Blade. I will try and give you an idea of what is possible if you're on the top of the game, right? Zip Trader. There he is. Okay. So his monthly estimated earnings is 6.3K. And I have found that for day trading channels that their estimate is always low. His estimate is always low. Okay? You get what I'm saying? My prop group almost always does day trade the world, 70K or so. Yeah, I don't get how is this skip ads. Oh, see, he's not even he's showing some other guy's channel. I don't know what this is actually. Maybe this isn't what I think it is. I've seen other ones that are live that just don't show anything. It's just like a chart of the S&P 500 and like thousands of people watching. I'm like, what the heck? Why? Close all that. Okay, so we did get an okay move down to 50, but it's pulled back. I still think that they could make it back to 34.48. Yeah, like I was watching one channel and they had 1,000 viewers or something like that. So I don't think that we've ever really gotten more than 50. And like I'm like I have you can see me. I have all of my you can see my orders. And this guy, you couldn't see him. He wasn't talking. He just had a chart of the S&P 500 up. It's like, what? Obviously, it's me. Clearly, they don't want to watch me, I guess. That's the only conclusion I can make. Marketing. They must have some marketing trick that I don't know. So I rely largely off of organic growth, right? Which is really hard with streaming, right? Because it's hard. You got to convince people to come back, and that people come in, they might not find what we're talking about super interesting, or some people don't want to talk about politics. Yeah, plan for trade. You're totally right. Plan B for trade. Mind that most people don't want to trade or learn to trade. They want entertainment. Yeah. And like, how do I do that without, because the main goal here is to make money. I think I could do some more entertainment on individual videos though. Mm-mm. 9:25. I'm surprised that they're just sitting here like this. But, you know, I guess there's not much reason for them to move it. I would think that if there's not much reason for them to move it, that a lot of the move that we had up would get retraced. Plus, YouTube is a fully censored platform. Well, I don't think that I'm getting censored, but I hear that makeup channels do well. Yes, they do. Is that what I need to do? I need to go to makeup school and learn how to become a makeup artist and make a YouTube channel about that. Yeah, well, something that I find interesting is that YouTube, so we'll get like 25 concurrent viewers, and it looks really consistent. Like around 8:30, we get about 30 people, and then usually by the end of the broadcast, it goes down. Um, so it stays really consistent. It's like the same group of people every day. But when I look at viewer activity, it says 176 playbacks. So I don't know if that's like you guys are hitting refresh or you stop and pause or what. If you cross dress and do makeup, you will be. Why do you guys want me to cross dress so badly? I don't get that. Always bringing that up. Bro, you're censored for bashing dirt. I don't think that's the case. I'm getting pretty good search results. In fact, given how much competition there probably is for some of the search terms that I'm using, it's really surprising that I get any traffic from them. And the channel's doing really good in that respect, apparently. How do I get up to 200,000 subscribers? I don't know, but I think that there's a multiplying effect. Once your channel starts to get over a certain number, I think that once you're over like 10,000 subscribers, then it makes it a lot easier to grow. But I like lurking here and having you on in the background as I look at charts. Yeah, Gorilla, a lot of people have told me that, which just makes me feel so good. Because I totally get that not everybody's going to participate in the chat. But sometimes I wonder, do people really want to listen to me though? Well, what's really surprising to me is that so many people watch it afterwards on replay. Like so many guys. It's really something. That's why I always try to make the beginning of the video something that's rewatchable. So if you don't catch the very beginning of it, like go back and look at it. I mean, I do a pretty quick rundown, but I tried to show you here's what moved and here's why, and that's why it puts us in the context that we are. Sometimes that's really fast. Maybe I need to be a little bit more detailed about it for newer people, but yeah. Okay, so we came back up here. Are you gonna push again a new high? That short that they got earlier was okay, but it didn't go nearly down enough. That might be a case though where we would have gotten a different number if we could calculate in stops. Try saying Joe is humane and the bots will pick it up. He's a good Christian man. He goes to church every month. Every week. I mean, he doesn't go to church because coronavirus. But if there wasn't coronavirus, he would be going to church. And then talk about feminism. Oh my gosh. So you know what I saw the other day? Was this guy was saying, like vegetables aren't cruelty free, right? In order for you to grow avocados on an industrial scale. And he went through like the number of animals that probably die, every year as a result of having an avocado farm. I was like, wow, you really can't eat anything and not run afoul of the things that vegans hate. That is the reason why they don't eat meat. You really can't. All farming is like that, yeah. And glute exercises. Well, I do have a nice butt, but I don't want to become famous for my butt. Humans throw carrots in a pot of boiling water. It's inhumane. That's awesome. Who was showing that? It was on TikTok. So on TikTok, there's a lot of barbecue griller guys, and they have this one of the popular sounds that they put on is a guy talking about how destructive avocado farming is. In order for me and my family to survive, things have to die. That's pretty much the case unless you're a plant. That's why you aren't YouTube friendly. Your faith is that of Alex Jones. No, I don't like Alex Jones. No, don't let me in with him. Oh. But Alex Jones is entertainment. That's the thing that's so frustrating about it, isn't it? No, that's what we're gonna do. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get the chickens out. And the chickens are going to try and determine when the next interest rate increase is gonna be. Or something like that, or how high can the S&P 500 make it? Now get the chickens. We'll see where they go. Ninja Ace Trades accidentally consumed 5 biscuits when I wasn't paying attention. Those biscuits are wily fellows. They leap in like sugary ninjas. What? Charles, wait, what? Plants have self-defense mechanisms that kill. Yeah, listen, plants are alive. You think they'll hit that 33, 34, 55? I don't know. I've noticed in the E-mini like 500 orders is nothing. So I'm not so sure if we can read too much into it, but anyways, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong on the channel. I think that we're going about as successful as you would probably expect for a channel this niche and this serious. And that's just the way that it is. That is our own challenge that we've got. And I'm super serious, so part of that is just I've got to do better and be more entertaining, I guess. Summer liquidity is not great, true, but what else can you lean on to get support resistance forecast with a ATR? Well, yeah. I mean, even my calculations here are kind of. So the issue that I have got right now is that my calculations do really, really good in range bound action. But what we've got today is we've got a trend that's a really slow trend. So I keep seeing that we just look like we're pretty high, and that there's a good chance that we're going to have a pullback to 48 or 44. But it's like, when is it going to happen? Who knows? This whole move is just kind of like, you can tell the creep of death. Yeah. The retail traders have to be like confused right now. Like, everything's at all time highs and it's just kind of floating there. Like, okay, what does that mean? Well, if it was like in September and we were getting this sort of a thing, then I would be like, this is a really bad. It's gonna sell, you know. But just before Chairman Powell's meeting on Thursday, nah, nobody cares. You think it's bad now? Wait until tomorrow, because I don't think that his speech is until, let's see here. Also, what you do get Jackson Hole Symposium tonight. Let's see here. Tomorrow. Oh, Chairman Powell speaks first thing in the morning, so it actually might get some pretty good action tomorrow. Anyways. What should we call today's video? New highs despite slow trade. Oh, it's the 26th. I didn't change the date correctly. Do I have a bunch of days now that are all mislabeled? Oh dear. Oh, no, I think we're okay. No, this one is wrong. It says 24. So it's just yesterday. Therapeutic treatment. That's correct. Win usually keeps me honest on that. Ugh. Okay, I think we're good now. Oh, what was that? Okay. Something interesting happening. The liquidity was at 34.55. There was 500 contracts on. There are now 500 contracts on at 34.54, and an 800 lot was put on at 34.54. So that's interesting. It was an 800 lot. Ugh. I feel sleepy. It was an 800 lot, and they traded into it. I am flat since a few days because I cannot believe those all-time highs cannot relate to the real world, so I put it all to cash and wait for drops. But I am simple-minded and no professional know-how, as most of you here have. So good to be here and learn a few things for that. Oh, thank you so much, Lobo. Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I don't really keep money in the market for longer than 30 minutes, but I certainly find a lot of what's going on in the market confusing. That's like, it really is just like, how can we just be like at all-time highs and floating here when when the economy itself looks awful and getting worse, you know? Like, if the market is forward looking, it's looking like way more forward than it usually does or something. I can't justify these prices and stuff. On the short-term basis, though, we can still see the trade, so I guess it continues higher, but that makes me really nervous. Like, here's the thing, is I think that a lot of the times we think that a drop, we just, oh, we could have a drop, it just needs to get to the right price first. It's not that simple. A lot of the time, it's the timing of it. And the timing for September is much more prime for a short than right now is really what it comes down to. I agree, but building is crazy here on the coast. Well, there is a lot of people moving. The problem here that I see is that what happened was basically the lower cat class just got devastated and the middle class didn't get affected at all, because the middle class is almost entirely tech now. And I think that eventually what will happen is the middle class will get dragged down with them. Why September? So there's a couple of different things that happen in September, but one thing is just that seasonally, the fall time period tends to be weak for equities as a whole. Like if you look at the 2008 crisis, it happened in September and October. So it's a seasonal down period. There's also going to be quite a bit of treasury supply coming into the market in September, and corporate bond offerings and so on and so forth, because that's when those businesses do their business. It's like people come back from the summer and then they start doing their stuff. And one of the things is they have to buy bonds. And that could push interest rates up and damage equities. So that's another case. So I think that if there really is going to be like a real downturn, or even let's just say a real pullback, it's likely to occur in September. Or at the very least after Jackson Hole, But then that's the other thing is that I think that a lot of the up movement has to do with inflation. Okay, now they're doing it. Now they're at a spot where I could outright short it again. We'll wait for the volume to like slow down. But now it's in a spot where I could probably take it. But I'm not going to. I need to go. So thanks for chatting, guys. Lots of likes. So thank you very much. If you haven't seen my video on beginners, even if you're not a beginner, give that a view. Share it with your friends. I think there's some important ideas in there. So see you guys tomorrow for Mr. Powell. And in the meantime, stay profitable.